Welcome back to Classroom Chronicles. In today's episode, diving into diversity, we will explore the role that diversity plays in private schools. While attending Viewpoint, a college preparatory school in the hills of Calabasas, I took an English class. The class's racial demographic consisted of white students with 3 students of color. During a class discussion, we looked at 3 poems that discussed representation. 2 of the poems commented directly on racial representation, while the third poem did not. I was the only one who had mentioned one of those 2 poems, No Uncommercial Theater, written by Langston Hughes. It was a poem on how Black culture was being changed to be more palatable for white audiences. In this situation, the lack of a diverse student body directly impacts the quality of the class's education. We missed an engaging conversation that could have widened our perspective on this issue. This is the problem with the lack of diversity in private schools, as it creates a gap in perspectives that can make for far more interesting discussions in class, which directly inhibits the quality of education that the students receive. Firstly, we need to clarify that we are not just talking about racial diversity, but all aspects of diversity, including sexual identities, disabilities, and socioeconomic status. These identities give people unique perspectives, contributing to the diversity of thought, which is important in learning environments. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, in the fall of 2019, 66% of students who attended private K-12 schools were white. 12% were Hispanic, 9% Black, 7% Asian, and 5% were mixed race. We can see that white students make up the majority by quite a margin. Sadly, looking at other types of diversity is tricky, as many schools do not publish statistics on those aspects. This lack of evidence raises questions regarding why schools do not want to publish their statistics. While I can't answer this question, it is an important aspect to think about. Thankfully, I went to a private school and asked some of my friends to take a survey. The survey revealed some interesting results. 2% of people rated their school's diversity as a 2 on a scale of 1 to 5. There are also some interesting anecdotes relating to religious private schools and how they actively prohibited against LGBTQ+ clubs, or how an all-girls school banned the use of he/him pronouns. Overall, the survey revealed that while many people themselves felt represented, they could see diversity was lacking. Why do so many private schools lack diversity? Well, there are a couple of reasons, the biggest of which is financial. According to the Education Data Initiative, the average tuition cost among the nation's private high schools is $16,000. Looking at private schools in LA, the cheapest tuition was $44,000, while the highest was $50,000. These prices do not include donations or additional fees. These outrageous prices keep students with low socioeconomic backgrounds from attending. Speaking of aid, schools do not give much assistance. Viewpoint showed that only 20% of students were on financial aid. Many low-income or diverse students have no hope of attending without aid or scholarships. Another reason is the location. Many of these private schools in LA are located in high-income neighborhoods far from diverse communities, situated in wealthy cities like Calabasas and Santa Monica. These schools are highly inaccessible to anyone outside these affluent neighborhoods. A paper by a Princeton researcher about diversity in education found that yes, diversity is good for educational environments. The paper says, quote, diversity of all kinds is generally associated with positive learning and performance outcomes, end quote. And quote, increased exposure to diversity may also facilitate a different kind of learning experience, learning about unfamiliar groups of people and the experiences associated with those groups, end quote. While an absence of diversity may not necessarily create a bad educational experience, this paper shows that a diverse classroom is better for learning overall. So yes, a lack of diversity is inhibiting the learning experience for students and is one of the main reasons diversity should be an integral part of schools. Now, let us pivot to an interview with one of my classmates and hear their thoughts and possible solutions to this problem. Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for joining me. If you could please introduce yourself for the audience.
Hi, my name is Hannah Ritz. I originally attended Viewpoint High School. I am a white female Jew who is also straight.
So my first question is regarding diversity within your high school. What diversity did you see? Do you believe that overall there could be better diversity? And what was your experience?
I would say high school felt a little bit more diverse, but that was also because I was the president of Jewish Student Union. So I was working with the diversity department. So to me, it felt more diverse than I think it would have to the average student. I would say, a lot of LGBTQ supporters. There was a Black community as well. There was the Asian community. So I think there was diversity, but it wasn't necessarily to a point where you would see maybe in a public school. Could there be better diversity? Yes and no. Yes, there could be better diversity. But again, it's so hard because they can only offer so much. But I think that there can absolutely be more diversity. So I think like my overall experience is that there can always be more, but there's always a really fine line and it's always hard to find it.
So my last question for you today is, what role do you think that diverse perspectives play in creating a good learning environment?
I think that diverse perspectives give you a way of seeing from other people's point of view. If you have a Black gay teacher versus a white liberal straight person from California, and then you have hardcore conservative, if you're talking about politics and you have these different people talking to you about it, I think that definitely creates a way for you to form your own opinion because you can see where everyone else is coming from. And I think that that's why learning in a diverse environment is helpful, because then you can see all the different perspectives.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It was great talking to you again. While it may seem hopeless to improve diversity without the direct involvement of the administration, there are some steps that students can take. Students can create clubs within their school community. They could host cultural showcases. They can promote music, books, and movies by diverse creators. If you want to see a change in the student body, pressure the administration using protests and petitions. Show them how improving diversity will improve the educational experience, and explain ways in which they can increase diversity, like financial aid. Students have immense power at their school, even if it doesn't seem like it. It is up to the students to start the change and show the administration that they care about diversity. The students can show that they are a leading example of why diversity matters and that they are leaders who will take the initiative, not waiting for the bureaucratic administration to make the change for them. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Classroom Chronicles. We hope you'll join us for next week's episode.